They like the way I do this. When I crank it like a
Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Stampede, where we give you up-to-date news from around the gaming world, as well as opinions on your favorite topics. I'm your host, Buffalo Prime. We are brought to you today by the Hive. Game reviews, Let's Play, and much more. Hive is your one-stop destination for all things gaming, so check us out at www.youtube.com/HiveGuys. We have three topics on the agenda for today. First, we'll stop and make peace with GameStop's review of the Super Smash Bros. 3DS that came out not too long ago. There's a special surprise for Mortal Kombat X fans. There's a new addition to your universe. And we'll be talking about the highly controversial multiplayer mode, which is Destiny's Iron Banner mode. So let's just go ahead and get our hands dirty with another episode of the frickin' Stampede. I love it. I love it. It's this stuff that makes my day just, it goes by so quick. Life is short, and I'm just gonna keep going. Let's go ahead and start ourselves off with Super Smash Bros. 3DS, which was launched on October 3rd, which is roughly about 2 weeks ago from today. Since the game's release, it has been praised for its large and diverse character roster, its improvements to the game mechanics, and a variety of multiplayer options. Some criticism, however, is in the lack of a single-player mode, and issues concerning 3DS hardware, such as the size of the controller itself with a smaller screen, and latency issues with both the online and local multiplayer. There's also reports of people actually damaging their 3DS Circle Pad while playing this game excessively, which, let's be honest, it's Super Smash Bros. I mean, how many of us have broken GameCube controllers playing that? I mean, come on, I can't be the only one. I actually haven't done that. That was a bold-faced lie. I shouldn't lie to you guys. That's bad. I shouldn't do that. But anyway, we sit down and actually we, as in GameSpot, sat down with Daniel Starkey to review this game, calling it a smashing success. Despite his discomfort with the size of the 3DS and the cramped feeling he got in his hands, he found this game to be challenging and addicting. Lack of single-player content was a downfall, but Daniel said a variety of characters, smooth animations, and memorable stages will have gamers coming back for hours and hours of gameplay. GameSpot capped the review at a total of an 8 out of 10, because apparently handheld controls getting used to and a so-called lack of gameplay knocks you down 2 points. So I'd actually like to see more of why it only got an 8 out of 10 and not a 9 out of 10. I'm definitely not saying that Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS deserves a 10 out of 10. But it seems like that was a pretty big knock. I know GameSpot has been notorious for giving harder reviews and being harder on their scoring than most places are. I actually got Super Smash Bros. 3DS about 2 days ago, and I gotta say, the lack of single-player content, I think, is pretty false. If you compare it to Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii, I mean, that's a big difference, okay? Because that single-player was long, it was, intricate. I mean, that's something that only really a console game can do. This is still the 3DS, let's be honest. Now, if we're comparing this game to other 3DS games, I think it's one of the best ones out there. But there is a single-player mode. Similar to that in Melee in the original Super Smash Bros., there is a line you can take to get from the beginning of the game to the Master Hand at the very end. You can choose different paths you can take. So like, okay, I'm walking up, I see Pokemon on the left, Star Fox in the center, and Kirby on the right. I can choose which one I want to go to. That's cool. That's an awesome addition. But lack of single-player content, I think that's a little bit naive. There is single-player in the game, but you know what? That's their call, and they're going to stick to that, and that's awesome. Now, before we go into our next segment, we are going to look at 3 short news blips from around the gaming world and give you what's called the Hive's Last Stand, which is brought to you by all 3 members of the Hive. If you've seen an episode of our reviews on our YouTube, you'll know that the Last Stand is where we give a short little comment on what we think about gaming news. Now, since I'm the only one here today, Baloney, Suntan, and Jace have both given their comments on news articles. I'll go ahead and voice that for them. In their voice, maybe, probably not. We're all Midwestern white dudes, so we all basically sound the same. So I don't think that's going to work. But we'll start with my segment. I got the fact that the Borderlands pre-sequel launch trailer pokes a little bit of fun at Destiny. They do a countdown in the middle of the episode where they go like, oh, there's 5, it's going to be magnificent, 4, it's going to be crazy good, and whatever the case may be. And actually at 0, they say 0 moon wizards, poking fun at Destiny's Hive, which has moon wizards as you took it. Some people are, a little upset that the fact that Gearbox felt the need to do this. I, for one, really enjoy it because in this current world that we live in, so many people are so candid and so many people are so neutral with the way that they discuss things with the press, the way they even perceive themselves in a public relations stance. Everyone's so afraid of offending somebody that even in celebrities, we even see it with athletes, a lot of people they have canned responses, and that's boring. Gearbox stepped out of that comfort zone, poked a little bit of fun at Destiny while delivering a pretty great trailer. So if you know me, I actually put Destiny above Borderlands, as crazy as that sounds. But yeah, I like it. Personally, I like it a lot. We move on to the next segment, which was the fact that Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I'm guaranteed that's right. So it's confusing, but I'm pretty sure I got that right. If I didn't get it right, you got to let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, they're releasing a thing called Area Nav or Dex Nav. I've heard it called a couple different ways. Essentially, what it's going to do is when you are in a route or anything like that trying to catch Pokemon, the Dex Nav or Area Nav will scan the area that you're in and display Pokemon that you have not yet captured, which is awesome for people who haven't gone out and actually caught those certain Pokemon that are looking for them. And so instead of pulling up your Pokédex, you can actually just at real time see what's left to be discovered. It takes a little bit away from the fun of Pokemon to some critics, but Baloney Suntan believes this is interesting. It should be nice when searching for specific Pokemon that you don't have. He likes it, and you should too. And if you don't like it, he says, then you're not a true fan of Nintendo, and you can shove it up your butt. I didn't say that, folks. He said that, not me. Don't get mad at me in this show. He didn't even say that. He might have said it. Maybe he probably didn't say that, but it was said somewhere. Somehow, something was said about just things. I don't know. We can just move on. The final bit is that Destiny has also, once again, patched their game, removing a couple of loot caves that gamers have found after the first loot cave, and has weakened auto rifles and done a couple of leveling when it comes to damage output from certain guns. A lot of people are criticizing this, saying that Destiny promised that every update they would be updating the game and making it better, when all they've done is remove content from the gamers. Jace disagrees. He says it's good. That means that Bungie is not just producing a game to let it go, they are constantly fixing it and making it better. Technically, loot caves are exploits in the game, and even though they're exploits that benefit the player, it's not how the game was intended. So are they taking things away from the gamer? Yes, but those are things that were never intended in the first place. So ignoring them and leaving them be is accepting the fact that they're a part of the game. Bungie doesn't want that. I respect it personally, and I know Jace does too. So if you guys have any other news or any other opinion that you want our opinions on or you want to share with us, feel free to reach out to me or the Hive through Twitter. I'm at Buffalo Prime, and the rest of the guys are at Hive Guys. We love hearing from our fans, and we would love to interact with you on super inappropriate levels. So let's talk Mortal Kombat. Big announcement from DC Comics. So if you're a big fan of the Mortal Kombat series, you should keep your eyes open. January 2015 at your local comic book shop, as DC has announced at the New York Comic-Con that they will be releasing a comic book series based on the new Mortal Kombat X video game. This combat series will include memorable characters from the past as well as some new faces that will be seen come the April 2015 release of the video game. This comic book series will feature art from Dexter Soyand and covers from Yvonne Rees, which, if that wasn't how I said it, well, you can't fix me now, it's already been said. So, although more details are not available at this time, this news comes with great joy to the Mortal Kombat fan base. Our big Mortal Kombat fan and our hosting cap is Baloney Suntan, who's been playing it for a very long time. I know he's got to be excited for this comic book series to be coming out. And personally, I think it's a great addition to the game. I'm always a big fan of when games step out of their comfort zone and pursue other options outside of just the video game. Like Mass Effect has a book series, Halo has a huge book series, and a TV show and a movie. I mean, any way that you can expand upon your game and outside of the gaming realm is, I just think, phenomenal. So this is definitely a good thing in my opinion. I hope more games do these sort of things, especially Destiny. I would love that. God, I'm being such a Destiny fanboy. I'm so sorry. Before we continue, we want to make sure that you're aware that all the information you hear on this episode is brought to you by GameSpot. 9 out of 10 gaming professionals recommend GameSpot for all your video entertainment needs. With previews, reviews, and web shows, GameSpot has everything you need to know to keep up to date with the gaming world. Check out GameSpot.com today for more information. The final topic that we're going to be talking about is Destiny's Iron Banner, which actually I believe ended last week. I think that was a week-long thing. But Destiny's new PvP game mode as of last week was Iron Banner, which has been called a lot of things. But above all else, the new level-dependent game mode has been criticized for not being what gamers expected. Well, you ask, what did gamers expect? Exactly what was written, that the level differences between Guardians would be clearly noticeable on the battlefield. What they got, however, was an even field, an even level playing field, with no reward for if your team lost. This led to complaints to Bungie, as well as quitters on the battlefield, which definitely hurts a game. You have a multiplayer game, you don't want people quitting. You want them to play the entire match, and there was just no benefit to doing that. Well, Bungie has responded to these comments, however. In Bungie's latest weekly update, senior design Derek Carroll explained why the way that we pitched Iron Banner did make it sound like a no-holds-barred playlist, he said. In reality, we delivered what we felt would be a competitive experience for everyone, not just players at the level cap. The reaction from players seems to be, no, we want it to be bad for low-level players. That's the point. Well, they listened to your feedback, but this first Iron Banner was fairly conservative. Carroll further explained that time to kill is the same when you're using higher level gear against lower level gear Guardians, but that the opposite is not true. So an enemy with lesser weapons will have a harder time killing you. To keep competition close and to avoid unwinnable fights, the largest advantage you can have is around 7 levels, Carroll said. So if you're attacking a target 20 levels above you, you still have a fair shot at winning that fight. A lot of negative feedback coming out of the Bungie community, claiming that the Iron Banner is not only a waste of time, but it's no different than the Crucible, which is is Destiny's standard PvP experience that has no level differential. So a level 1 can kill a level 20, and you'll be perfectly all set with that. As always, the Stampede has been brought to you by the Hive. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube for more laughs and more information than your brain can handle. Once again, my name is Buffalo Prime. And honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and go out there. I'm probably going to tackle a bear with some silly string or something like that. Try to take him down. I've heard shooting him in the eyes is probably the best way of doing that. So we'll see you next time here on the Stampede. Thank you so much for listening.